So so then there's some pipers coming over from Scotland, right? A pipe, and they will be participating in the Douglas Days event here in Spain, right? Which we celebrate every year in August. And they're also going to go to Gibraltar to do a little sort of small, not I don't know if we could call it a concert, but like a sort of set of tunes as a homage to the Sea Scout Pipe Band on their 100th birthday, right? And so they've invited us to join them from Spain, right? And one of the tunes they've included happens to be 79th Farewell to Gibraltar. So I got plenty of time to get them to learn, but at the same time they have to learn a whole bunch of other tunes. And as I had the drumming for 79th, I thought, well, I might as well start with that one, so then I can work with the piper and the drummer at the same time, right?
Who
And also,
wrote
from
the
what I see, sorry,
Who wrote the version of the drum part for 79th Farewell to Gibraltar that you have there?
uh, that one was, I think his name is John Laughlin.
John Laughlin. Okay.
Yeah,
I, there's a guy named John Quigg over here who
yeah,
uh, wrote a part for that. That's you hear it played absolutely everywhere at Highland Games because it's one of the sort of standard settings for that tune, and that being a
right.
fairly popular tune for pipers, it was well accepted by the drumming community as well.
Hmm.
What's the relationship like between Spain and Gibraltar? I mean, Gibraltar, is
Uh,
it actually Spain or is it its own separate thing?
okay. Depends who you talk to, right?
Okay.
If you talk to a Gibraltarian, they will tell you that they're both British and European, right? And if you talk to a Spaniard, they will say that is part of Spain and it was stolen from us, right? So it's not a part of anything. And what you'll find is that every now and then they will have the border, right? They will close the border or make it more difficult to cross between Gibraltar and Spain, right? Most of the year you can just walk right through, show your passport or your ID, no problem at all. And when they do sort of make it difficult, what they actually do is make it very difficult for a lot of Spaniards who live in Spain and work in Gibraltar. And the standard of living in Gibraltar is much, much higher than in Spain.
Hmm.
But imagine living, and not because it's religious, but living in a holy rock, because that's what it is. It's very, very holy, right? They've got all sorts of tunnels and secret caves and things like that. Um, is not really, many people's dream lifestyle. Mm. So the relationship is mostly those who live on the Gibraltarian side are very happy being British. They want Britain to be in Europe because then they can get through the border much easier. Uh, ah,
Gibraltar there. I thought just crossed my mind, but they're a fair bit off from each other. Because I was thinking, big rocks are cool. I think there's something sweet about big rocks. And I've never actually seen Gibraltar, other than I've seen a couple of movies that had it, but I'm sure movies don't do it justice.
you're right. No.
Um, and I know, I mean, I've seen a number of movies with it featured, but I was just thinking, like, it's only a couple of lines off from Atlanta, Georgia,
Ah, right. Yes.
where the Stone Mountain is. And so I'm just wondering if there's like 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder if there's somewhere 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle of the North Pacific Ocean where there's
Just
another
12.
enormous rock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would put another enormous rock probably somewhere in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then another one perhaps somewhere in Middle East. Yeah. Mm, mm, patterns, you know.
Yes, it's true. It's true. So yeah, and if you ever have a chance to, if you ever come to Spain, I tell people who come and visit Spain, is probably Gibraltar is not the most beautiful place to visit, right? But it's a kind of place you cannot miss visiting, right? Because it's such a curiosity, right? For example, um, the people who live in Gibraltar, the Spanish, and they are now calling themselves llanitos, from like the flat surface. That's what they call them. Although it's a contradiction in terms because originally the llanitos were living on the Spanish side, but somehow that name got transferred to them, and they have their own way of speaking. They have a very peculiar kind of Spanglish, right? And one of the peculiarities, for example, if you're speaking in Spanish or in English, they will sometimes, mostly from English to Spanish, they will translate things literally. Um, for example, if you say I call you back in Spanish, the normal way would be te volvería a llamar, right?
Mhm.
Now, if the way they translate it, they say, okay, I'll call you back, and they say, te llamo para atrás, which translated back into English actually means I call you backwards,
Mhm.
or to my
That's
back. So,
interesting. Yeah.
in fact, I
It
think
reminds me of I don't know very much Japanese, but there's
hmm
a fairly popular thing these days, I guess, where Japanese songwriters will write parts of their songs in English. And like if you're watching an animated show,
yeah,
the opening credits or the closing credits, often they'll have subtitles the whole way through,
yeah,
and they'll start off singing in Japanese, but then as if you're reading along, at some point what they're singing is actually what is written down there. And you just have to kind of listen. And the thing is that they don't, in some cases, the cadence is essentially the same. So they're
hmm
saying English words with a strongly Japanese flow to it.
yeah.
And it sounds kind of like that. I don't know how well the two languages actually um, directly translate with each other. My guess is that they don't actually directly translate very much, but not certainly like Spanish and English do, where you have words that
Yeah,
actually do mean
yeah.
things, languages.
Well, English is a language that okay. They blame the or uh, it is a claim that the English are the world's greatest pirates of wealth, right? But the actual
Language,
fact,
yeah, no,
but I think they're bigger pirates in language than in wealth. Because
Mhm.
if you start going to the original language, there's so little, right, that's originally English nowadays. It's French, Italian, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, and Indian. I mean, all the terms for polo, right, or what do you call it, cricket, right? When you play cricket, all the terms are Pakistani, and all the terms for polo are Indian, right? They've got no problem in saying, for example, words like what do you call it, uh, Peking, right? Which now they're trying to get us to say Beijing, right? But that's because they just heard it more or less and said, okay, this is how we're going to say it. And the same they've done with, whiskey, ushkiba, right? Um, and so many other words. Well, the Scots have also done the same
Mhm.
with words like country dancing, coming from contre dance, the French. So,
Mhm.
you know, we're all expert. But the biggest pirates in that sense are the English. And that's what's made their language so powerful nowadays. I mean, nobody cannot speak English if they want to get anywhere in the world.
It's kind of one of those double-edged things, I would think, that
Yeah.
everybody knows some English because English has taken some of their language.
Yes.
And if you want to sort of participate broadly, if you want an easy, well, maybe not easy, but if you want a common ground that is equally inaccessible, uh, then that's the one, uh,
Yeah.
probably. Anyway, so I
Well,
keep getting
the
distracted by this thing. I have this here. English. It's only sort of peripherally related to. I'm showing it off because it's something that others should be insanely jealous of. It was a gift from a student of mine.
right, right, yes.
It is what's known as
Blackwing. Oh,
Blackwing 62,
yeah.
and it's a slogan.
Half the pressure, twice the speed.
Yeah, and I can feel holding this that it is like aerodynamically formulated to
No.
be comfortable. It's weird. I've held a lot of pencils in my hand over but like it's got a little bit, just a little bit more weight. It smells lovely because it's
Right.
sort of like a scented cedar type thing. I haven't actually written anything with it yet because I want to write something
What?
significant.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's apparently it was discontinued and then recontinued. I guess it was the favorite of writers like John Steinbeck and Vladimir Nabokov and Truman Capote. Favorite
Right.
of artists Chuck Jones, who created Looney Tunes, and Seamus Culhane, who asked to be buried with one. He was one of Disney's animators. Musicians Stephen Sondheim and Leonard Bernstein and Quincy Jones all write with him. And they were discontinued in 1998 and then bought and started up again in 2010-ish. But apparently, for a while after they were discontinued, people started to hoard them, and you could buy them on eBay for between $40 and $100 each.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah. So anyway,
Wow.
it's sitting
So
there
is that
just so I can
is
show it to
is that
folks.
one of the new series? Is that the new
Yes,
series?
yes,
Yes. Right.
yes.
Right.
So I couldn't compare it to the originals, but I can say that it's a lot better than my Dixon Ticonderoga #2 pencil, and I haven't even written anything with it yet.
Yeah.
So
But you can really feel the
yeah,
the sort of
you feel that
all the
just
ergonomics.
yeah, there's something about this thing that it wants to write. I can feel it. Yeah,
Lovely.
really is something. Yeah, and it's got a replaceable uh, eraser as well. You can see the
That's
little tags on the side.
right.
So if I use up the eraser, I can just and put
To
in a
pluck it
different
out
one.
and put a new one.
Yeah.
That is a sophisticated design, and well, uh, it would seem quite strange, but we seem to be going away from things of quality, right? Because they're too expensive. But in reality, they're not too expensive if they're real quality. When you get the
Mhm.
right kind of satisfaction or the right kind of results, I mean, uh, this, this is nowhere close to comparable. But a very weird thing has happened. I discovered the other day. With my wife, we play Scrabble practically every single day, right? And a couple of years ago, right, uh, the board fell down, right, and we had to start again. So because of that, we started the practice of taking the score and writing the words that go with that score, right? And which keeps an eye on, okay, if it falls down, we can pick it up again. We can have all the words. And also sort of like a fun record. We now have something like 3 or 4 books, right, with hundreds of games completely written out,
Mm-hmm.
no? And confession, we cheat a lot. We cheat like nobody's business. But then it's only
Well, that's
two of
part of the
us, right?
game, isn't it? Yeah.
And one of the things I notice is that I use one of these, we've got a ballpoint pen that has 4 colors, right? And depending on who starts, I practically all the scores I write down. And there, weirdly enough, I'm pretty honest, I don't sort of give myself more points because I'm writing the score. But but I put, who's who, and I put Mummy and Daddy, right? And writing Mummy, I found it very difficult. All those, the three M's, right, with a U in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
The first M would be all right, and then when I came out of the U, the ends would just sort of. I didn't know if I had too many sort of arches or too few. Very weird. I was feeling really strange for a long time. Then the other day I changed a ballpoint pen to a better one, a beak. The problem disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All of a sudden
Mm-hmm.
I felt, okay, it's not a mental problem. It's because the pen wasn't working properly, and I wasn't writing with with a flow I needed to be able to write properly. So yeah, I can fully
Makes a
understand why
difference.
a decent writing instrument, right, is a good thing, right? And
Especially if
well,
you're doing it on a regular basis like that. That's yeah. I
exactly.
mean, absolutely, the quality of a good pen can completely change a signature as well. And
It
yeah, I
does.
see that with Mummy as well. The all those M's and the U's and everything that would absolutely have a big
I mean,
impact on it.
basically, it's a whole bunch of arches with one arch in the middle going in the other direction. So, arch, arch, arch,
Mm-hmm.
arch, arch, arch. Arch.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
Okay. Yeah.
Mississippi was another good one for writing that.
Which one?
Or was it
Ah,
Mississippi? Oh,
Mississippi. Yes.
maybe it was Millennium or something like that. It was something like that where you just go if you're
Yeah.
writing it on a chalkboard, you just have to go up a little bit on one spot and then
And if you
yeah.
think about it too
Uh,
much, it's wrong.
you're right, exactly. Okay,
Well,
so
so,
let's see. You've been
yeah.
working on other stuff. Um, do you want to? You said you've got your pipes there.
Yeah.
Um, are there any tunes that you'd especially like to play for me on the pipes?
Uh, maybe you'd like to tell me what they sound like, right?
Sure.
So, uh, for example, something like Green Hills, which is the one that everybody uses because you got the whole scale, right?
Mhm.
Or would you say a little bit more sophisticated?
No, that would be all right.
Okay.
Now I've got a question for you though. Do you know if the do you know if it's the earbuds that will be sending the
No,
sound
it's a
to me,
mic.
or
It's a
it's
microphone from the computer.
okay? All right, that's fine then. And have you got your original sound on then as well?
Yes, yes.
Okie dokie.
So I'll just make them sound a little bit, and you tell me if you can. Can you hear it all
There
right?
is something strange going on with the audio. Um, we're sure that the original sound is on.
Ye- yes, it is on.
In the audio settings, is it?
Yes.
Do you have your microphone set so that it does not automatically adjust the microphone volume?
Ah, okay. Right. I made a mistake there, which is not a weird thing. But when I changed it, I took it away from the earbuds and I put it as same as system, and then in brackets, the earbuds. So that's not meant
Oh,
to be true.
right.
So let's see now if it.
It was coming through differently. You could probably get a little bit closer to the mic. You
Oh,
could get a little bit, yeah,
hell.
you could,
Okay.
it, it was sounding better. It was sounding better, but I think there may be more ambient noise, so you don't have to be quite so far away.
Right. Because, well, another thing that's happened. Okay. Let me. Okay, no, wait, okay.
What are you working on?
Um, I'd managed to get my, instead of listening to you through the earbuds, I was listening to you through the loudspeaker. So I think
Okay.
let's see now. Um, so, oh no, can't
Oh yeah,
hear.
that's all right. I muted myself.
Ah, oh,
That's all right.
okay, okay.
Um, I was just cutting off my audio in case anything from my end might interfere with the audio
Right.
flow from your side. I could hear everything. Um, Sound is, I'm not utterly convinced that it isn't also coming from the earbuds, but I can hear the drones. I can hear the chanter. I'd say about halfway between where you were the first time and the computer would be the best
Okay,
spot from an
right.
audio perspective.
Fine, perfect, perfect, perfect. So,
So yeah,
okay.
go ahead and let's hear a tune.
Yeah.
What's the temperature there?
Uh, here in Celsius, it's about 22, 23. Warmish.
Okay, warmish. Okay, but not like there's not a cool breeze or something coming through.
Uh, no, there's a very, very slight breeze, but it's not cool or anything like that. No.
Okay, and had you played the pipes before the
Yes.
lesson?
Yeah.
And how long? So they're just sitting there for a bit. All right. The reason I ask all these questions is because the low A is sharp, and
Hmm.
it's it's sharp in a way that is different from every other note on the chanter.
Okay.
Now, it could be that just playing everything would sort itself out.
Mm-hmm.
What I've found though is that especially when a person strikes up and the low A and the high A are out of tune with each other, a person can spend a whole lot of time trying to tune their pipes, and it's just frustrating because you never quite get it right. So why don't you play me something a little bit longer, Do you
Okay.
have 79's Farewell to Gibraltar
Yeah.
all
Oh well.
eyes and everything?
Let's see if I haven't played it for years, but I should be able to play without any problem. What I'll do
Okay, well, take your
is,
time going through it. Make it, make it a nice
yeah.
strolling tune. We're not charging into battle with this one, just a nice strolling tune, um, and yeah, march back and forth as well. And that way, I'll get to hear the pipes from a couple of different angles, and that will help certainly as well.
Okay.
When you march, do you always turn in the same direction, or like do you
I,
always turn to the right, or always turn toward the audience, or something like that?
well, I do it both ways depending on where I'm playing.
All right, then
Uh,
I would say for this time, always turn to the right, and that'll give me a couple of good shots at the drones without the chanter, and vice versa.
okay, right. So always in the same direction. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry. I
Oh,
should have.
yeah.
Done. Forgot the fourth part. How did it begin? Oh,
Oh, buddy, buddy, oh,
ah.
he, buddy, buddy, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So what you've got going on there is just a little bit of hyperventilation. And that's causing your chanter to waver a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, you're dropping a lot of grace notes, a lot of high G grace notes.
Mhm.
So you're playing like doublings without the first grace note in them, and it came through. We're going to fix it in a second, but it came through, in particular in that part three. Uh, that sort of run along,
Yeah.
right? Where it'll start to feel very ungainly. And so, what I think is happening is you've got a little bit of extra tension in your shoulders, perhaps a little bit of extra tension that's just sort of sticking your G finger, your left index, to the chanter. And what I'd like is if you just blow up and play um, nice and easy, a pattern of G grace notes kind of back and forth between the notes of the scale. Let's say alternating with low G. So you've got, and then maybe we'll do low G. And so on. Just nice and you don't have to play it that fast either. But what I want you to do is, as you're doing that, we're looking for consistent sounding of that G grace note, relaxed hands, relaxed shoulders, just nice and easy. And don't forget to breathe all the way out every now and then so you don't build up that stale air.
Sorry, I'm not sure I understood that last bit. Breathe out?
So if you don't breathe all the way out every now and then you build up what is called stale air in your lungs. So it's air that's just a little bit less oxygenated. And so that's how you can end up feeling like your lungs are full, but you're getting lightheaded. And that's what happens when
Okay.
folks do. That's what happens when folks do like hyperventilation. If they start to have a panic attack or something, and they just,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
not exhaling all the way. The solution for that in most cases is just
Blow everything
exhale
out.
everything, and
Okay.
that'll let it all come back in. Yeah. I like it. Now do that same pattern,
Mm-hmm.
but play it as eighth notes and march to it. You're playing it as quarter notes. You're playing as quarter notes. Play it as eighths. So bum 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 bum. So you've got what you were just doing was stepping with each grace note. I want you to play two grace notes per step.
Ah, okay.
right, pause there a second. We're getting closer. This is going to be fun when you go back and watch the recording. So now, play that again.
Yes.
Play that again. Play it like it's a tune. So what you're just doing was an exercise, right? Now I want you to stand there and step off with the first note of the tune, which is a high G grace note to low G. And play it like it's a march. Good. All right. Now give me a 79th farewell to Gibraltar again.
Okay. The whole tune or the third part?
Let's plan on the whole tune, but I might wave you off before we get the whole way through it.
Okay.
Okie dokie, that'll do. Overall, better. It was a little bit faster just then than you
Yes.
played it the first time through.
Yes.
Do you have the sheet music for it?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a quick glance. I've got a copy somewhere around here. Let's see. There we go. Is yours a hard copy or a digital copy?
Hard copy.
Okay. What I want to identify
Yes.
is the sort of placement, characterization, application, whatever you want to call it, of the grace notes, the G grace notes specifically, because you got more of them that time,
Yes.
but there are some that are missing that your hands should want to fill in on their own. Like even
Right.
it's a thing that they should want to be there anyway. So just glancing at part one,
Yeah.
every time your left foot hits the ground, there should be a G grace note, with the exception of when you come off of a high A.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you play through that first part with the practice chanter and see what ends up
Okay.
coming.
Right. Okay.
That was better. That was better. 2 grace notes to note. Measure 4 of both lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a doubling followed by a grace note down, and it's different. Measure 4, it's the high G grace note to that B.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Right.
is it a high G grace note to that B?
Uh, it should be an E.
Well, in
So,
some cases it would be, but in this case it should actually be a high G grace note.
right. And the reason for that is
It's
because of the
because a
embellishment.
torlua, yeah,
Ah, right. Because
a
of the
torlua
embellishment.
inherently starts with a high G grace note.
Ah, right.
And that
Okay.
will be present in, I think, all 4 parts. Yeah, except for the fourth part. So the first 3 parts. Um, but then in measure 4 of the second line, it is
It
an E
goes,
grace note
but because
down at
it's a
that level.
pearl and not a talua.
Right. Right. In
Okay.
that case, there's nothing to supersede the normal E grace note is on the upbeat.
Right. Right. Okay.
So that would be a thing to watch for the whole way through, at least as I say, the first 3 parts. And then, as a general rule,
Mm-hmm.
uh, certainly in the second part, let's see, the first part, yes. Is it true on the third part?
And the third.
Almost. Almost. So, almost the entire way through the tune, when a foot hits the ground, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to play a G grace note almost the whole way through. There are exceptions, like the second half of the Torluas, right? The second half
Mm-hmm.
of the Torlua should have that E grace note. And then every now and then there's a grip. Like in the third and fourth parts, there are places where a grip
Yeah.
takes you across the beat. But the vast majority of the places that your foot hits the ground, there's going to be a G grace note.
Right.
So
Be it left. Yeah.
what you should do is, what's that?
Yeah. Be it left or right foot. It should.
Yep, doesn't matter which
Yeah.
foot it is. It's almost
Yeah.
always going to be a high G grace note. So why don't you play the, let's see, how about the second part and keep that in mind as you go.
Okay. Ah, then I'm doing like a strike, but it's a doubling.
It is in, yeah, I wasn't going to say anything because a strike, as long as you're consistent, is all right, but it is a doubling in my setting.
Okay. The thing is that the strikes, I sort of have weak, a weakness for them.
You like strikes?
I like
Do you
strikes.
play
You know,
the jig of slurs?
I used to play it. I haven't played it in decades, but yes,
We might
I'll bring it
revisit
back.
that at some point then. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
one for the strikes.
Also, I don't like working, so I would strike. Sorry, bad joke.
Ah,
Dad joke. Dad joke.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Yep, that'll do for that part.
Mm-hmm.
How about the third part?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Do me that part again. And what I'm looking
Yeah.
for here is that little run that comes, it really kind of starts in the second measure, right?
Yes.
I want that to just kind of roll along nice and
Uh-huh.
easy until it culminates in that F doubling at the end. Yeah, we're losing the B and the D there. We're losing the D especially in measure 3
Mm-hmm.
is sort of getting lost in the mix.
They, yeah. Okay.
Do you hear that little, very slight crossing noise between the B and the C
The V and the
as you were
C.
playing just then? So
No.
that's the thing that sort of caught my ear
Uh-huh.
first. It all was sort of a,
Uh,
it was very, very slight mistiming of the G grace note. So take it slow, break it down until it's in a very uncomfortable speed for you, basically. So what I want you to do is so that your fingers are forced to find themselves. I want it to just bum ba doo ba dee ba da ba. Go ahead. Yeah. So this is the sort of the I don't know what the right term is. Juxtapose, perhaps, that we want to
mm-hmm.
combine the idea of the dot and cut being very like regimental military
Yeah. Right,
with
right.
the sweetness and sort of gentle technique that I advocate for, which brings with it clarity in the placement of those G grace notes through it. The G grace notes, yes, they should act as anchors, but they shouldn't force a thing to be right there. It should just be where that thing is precisely. So, do you have a C doubling on the C at the end of measure 2 there?
Uh, yeah.
Is that what you have there?
Wait, wait. A measure 2, the doubling I have is on a B.
Is that the only doubling? There isn't a C doubling right after it?
No, it's just a G. So it should
Okay,
be
that's
two
fine.
doublings. No, no.
No, it doesn't have to be.
Ah,
There's
wait.
some
Because in measure 4, I have a
like
tenor and then a doubling to C. So
you
it
see
should be more.
this. Can you see mine here?
Yeah.
So the setting I'm looking off of, just because it came easy to hand, is the one that was in the green book. But it's not a universal setting.
Right.
Like for example, you're putting G grace notes on those dotted E's, and I would put those on there as well. They're just not in this setting. So you've been putting a C doubling on that C,
Mm-hmm.
and I would put one there as well. But if your setting doesn't have it and you don't want to play it, then don't play it.
Mm. No, it has. When I was going to the C, I have the G grace note there.
Just a
The
G grace note.
doubling to
That's fine.
B.
That's fine. So starting the beginning of the third part, we'd have. All right, so take it nice and smooth and easy and relax through that little run in the second and third measures. I liked that better. I liked that better. Even though we took a little bit of liberty with the tempo, I preferred what you did there
Mm-hmm.
for now. Now take the idea that G grace note to C in
Yes.
measure 2. We're
Okay.
going to just hang on to that for a minute. And onto the low A that follows the B,
Okay.
right? So you're going to hold on to both of them and then let the rest of the thing roll along at its own tempo. Now, it might have been the audio, but I didn't hear the D in there at all. In that little run through there, like I liked the way the long notes were pointed, but I didn't hear the short notes anywhere near as much. Let's take a
Okay.
moment as well, just at the very start there, very start third part. Make sure that G grace note to the low A is always happening at the same instant as the actual low A itself. They're not always hitting at the same time.
Okay.
Go ahead. Can you hear you got to that low A just a hair before the G grace note? There you go.
There's no doubling there, sorry.
There is not. Yeah. That's good. So what I think what may be going on is your hands are trying to make this part more aggressive than it is. That your G grace note, like putting in those doublings, they're trying to put more on the page than is actually there. And if you just leave what's there, it'll come through nice and sweet. If you focus on getting those G grace notes and the short notes all to sound just when they are, right? Don't try to get down to that low A too fast by shortening the B too much. We almost lost the B there, right? It's like, where's the B? See, we're not in a hurry to get anywhere, and it's all where it's supposed to be. And it comes up to that F doubling as kind of a, hey, here we are at the end of that little run, right? So you have the... All right, once more.
Okay.
Oh, watch that E grace note at the end there before the burl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed
so,
that
yeah,
when
I think your hands... What's that?
No, when I did the burl, I noticed, oh, I did a G instead of an E.
Right, yeah. So your hands have got this idea of the militaristic 2/4 march. You know, short notes should be cut, 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 and they've just taken it too far.
Right.
You just got to relax those short notes a little bit. Will make a big difference, and you can sort of stretch things a little bit. And just help them refine that spacing by playing it slow and maybe just a little more articulated. Right? Just let it kind of roll along like that. And that'll allow everything the space that it needs and should give you time to pay attention to those G grace notes. That's through the whole thing. Remember, that's where this whole thing started.
Yeah.
Is the G grace notes aren't always present, and when they are present, they aren't always right on with their note. Yeah. So slow the whole thing down. Play through it with the sheet music a couple of times. Make sure that you've got all your G grace notes where they're supposed to be, and that they are in fact right on that melody note. And it'll all sort itself out gradually. Any questions?
No, very pleased with the lesson.
Okay, sounds good. Then I will see you next week, right?
Yes. Do you want it to be at home, or would you like it to be like here? Well, it
it's
depends a
nice
bit on the weather.
Pipes. It was nice here on the pipes, but yeah, if the weather permits, that'd be great. Get a little bit of time on the pipes and then a little bit on the chanter. Chanter seemed to come out a little bit better, and overall the balance sorted itself out as he played a little bit more. So I wouldn't stress too much about anything there.
Okay, lovely. Lovely, because that's what I usually do. In other words, when I come to, this is what I call the corner, right? First I'll do the 10-second, 15-second note routine, right? And then I'll play something. And for that, I'll tune the drums so that they're not unbearable, but I don't worry about tuning. And usually the chanter will seem to sort of little by little get better, and then I'll start worrying about tuning them properly, right? So, okay then.
Sounds good.
See you next week.
Have a good one.
Cheers.
Yep.
God bless.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.